Okay. So, where are you traveling from? Where are you from? What's your name?
My name is Jean-André Schramm,
Oh,
and I'm from Germany, and I'm traveling here for 2 months in Costa Rica.
perfect. And what made you choose to come out here?
There were a few factors. It is a very safe country, so I don't have to worry about safety too much here in this country. Moreover, it has a lot of diverse climates, like the rainforest, noble forest, mangroves, Caribbean coast, Pacific coast,
Sure.
mountains, volcanoes, lagoons, everything. And there are also a lot of activities you can do as a tourist. Like it has a huge tourism industry in his country, so
Very diverse place.
very diverse place, a lot of things to do, and also not that big, so I can travel around without any problems, without traveling for hours to get to another place, maybe 2 or 5 hours for one to the other side.
And you said there's super diverse, tons of stuff to do. What's been like one of your favorite activities to do in Costa Rica? So give me some highlights.
I had a very awesome day. I started the day in Santa Elena, in the Monteverde Reserva.
Okay.
I was doing horseback riding in the morning. It was a 3-hour ride with only me and the guide.
Nice.
And we had a beautiful view around the valleys and the village, and we could see until the Gulf of Nicoya. I was very lucky with the weather. It was a bit busy, then changes to sun. So I really enjoyed the morning, and after perfect lunch I went with some girls I met there to the canopy thing. So with zip lining up to 2 kilometers and up to 30 meters above the trees, and it was amazing. It was also my first time, but it was amazing, the landscape. The
Was it scary at all, or?
It was scary, like if you're afraid of height, it is definitely scary, and like
I still haven't done zip lines or the horseback riding.
Yeah, for me was the zip line the first time, and it was really, really exciting. I mean, you always can choose look in the front, then it's okay, and look down, just to the ground. And this is what makes you scared a lot.
That's the shit moment.
Yeah, exactly. So you play a bit like, okay, can I look? Oh, it's just have a little break, and that's all. That's fun.
Yeah, definitely needs to do that. And with that comes a lot of nature, lots of wildlife, animals. What's been the coolest animal you've seen while out here?
The coolest animal?
Yeah.
Well, I saw today a snake which was completely in yellow.
Yeah.
From the top from the front to the end, all yellow, like just a warning signal, and nothing but camouflage. Like,
so it's venomous?
It was totally venomous.
Damn.
The guy was saying, "Don't get bitten, otherwise we can't do anything for you."
Wow.
Something like that. And it was really amazing. It was gorgeous, and also the shapes and the size and the specific details that they had. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And
wow. Yeah, that would be scary, but awesome at the same time. And what's been like your favorite part of the country? I know that the East Coast and West Coast are really different, or do you like everything in its own way?
I think the cloud forest in Monteverde were very beautiful. In the morning I did a hike during the reserve there, and the clouds were still hanging in the trees, and you couldn't see far away.
Yeah.
It was foggy and mystic as well at the same time. I really enjoyed that hike because it wasn't too hot. Like sometimes it can be very hot at the beach, and then you just feel like doing nothing, just hanging around in the shadow. But there I was fully activated. The nature gave me some energy, and was hiking without knowing where I was actually going, and it was amazing. Also the sounds around, it was cool.
It's nice. It's real nice. And you've been traveling solo? You're by yourself?
I'm traveling solo, yeah.
Okay, is this your first time, or have you done this a couple times?
It's not my first time. I had some experience already with little travels in Europe, solo, and I decided to also do by myself to go to Venezuela, but there we were in a group together.
Oh, that's a bold move.
We were with the group all the time together, and it was 8 years ago, so it was still a time where Venezuela was kind of order, good shape, and yeah, I traveled there without any friends or knowing someone, but like we had 3 months time to know each other, so we come very close. So it was like meeting new friends, and then after I think the second, third week was traveling with friends.
And you know, what are some of the positives and negatives of traveling solo? Like, let's say someone is contemplating whether to, you know, go backpacking by themselves for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
The thing is, if you travel solo, you're totally independent. That's a very good thing. It's a huge advantage. You can always decide where I want to go, how much time I want to spend there, and you have your own speed.
Yeah.
It starts with hiking. You have your own personal speed. You don't have to wait or hunt the others in front of you. And it goes further with how much days I want to stay in the beach and how much days in the mountains. Like, it depends on that what interest you have.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, if you're traveling in a group or with your best mate, then you have someone to share the same experience in one situation, and afterwards, at the evening or maybe weeks or months later, you still meet the same person and can talk about it. Or it starts like some funny situation at midday. In the evening, you can still laugh with someone very familiar to you about it and speak about later when you meet in a pub or something else. This I will kind of miss when I come back to Germany. There's no one which was sharing the same experience with me, so it's only like, yeah, I have did this and that, and it's more narrative than...
What about me?
Sure, but you
Just kidding.
if I have to share, like, yeah, we should meet then again, and it would be another travel.
For sure. And, you know, while you're traveling by yourself, you have to meet new people. If you
No, sure, that's totally a positive thing as well.
Be lonely.
You travel alone. And you have to be the character. Like, if you're a very shy person, have problems with talking to stranger, or in general you're not the kind of person who talks a lot, it would be not far, but it would be definitely a bit more difficult to get connection. For people who are always like totally open and get a lot of confident, they will meet fast new people. And you know, the people traveling around are all a bit the same, like adventurers, want to see new things, new people, new locations. You get very fastly connected. It's so different than meeting person in a cafe only in the same town, and it's easier to start a conversation during vacation and journeys in a hostel.
You need to be extroverted, put yourself out there. And, you know, speaking of characters, have you met any wild people on your travels? Like, any interesting characters that really stick out at you?
Especially when you're booking tours and you go on a tour with different people, then you meet again different people around different countries, and it's funny to see how often you can detect stereotypes in people. But from different countries. Like, I was in a tour for hitchhiking, for a hiking tour around the Lago de Nod, and there were 3 women, elderly women, around, I think they passed 40 already, but were totally acting like young girls in
college.
College, they were always arguing about the steep of the path, but always also wearing flip-flops. Everyone was wearing hiking boots, but they were only in flip-flops. Taking a lot of pictures and chatting all the time, also when the guide was trying to explain something. So it was funny to see them, and you always see different stereotypes as well during the travels. It's very interesting to always observe also all the
definitely people. And to an extent they are true.
Totally.
This one's interesting for me. What are some of the what do you think about Americans in general when you're traveling around? Like, what's the stereotype around them?
Stereotype of Americans. Wow. If we look in a travel perspective, They are quite similar to Europe in the way they like adventures and go for activity tours.
Yeah.
It's more I think it's the appearance of the Americans.
Yeah.
It's easier to detect them through all the tourists because they're quite obvious. Their appearance through the voices, they always talk quite loud and clear, so
Yeah.
you can hear them all.
I could see
They're
that.
talking about something, and depends of the person, but sometimes, especially elderly expats I met here, they act like they're kings.
Okay.
So they're a bit rougher to the people who are working here and expecting everything is going to work like they expect it to be, and not really showing too much respect to the things and culture which are actually
Like
here.
we're the center of the universe type of mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And what about Germans? Like,
Germans.
yeah.
Well, if I meet Germans, I try to hear the conversations because it's interesting to hear whether they're talking about the environment they're at right now and something about the nature, or they're talking about someone else. They like to talk to someone else, like, oh, did you have seen him and this and that. Or they're just arguing about something really stupid, like typical couple things, and why didn't you kiss me this morning? And then they walk with the face downwards, with the smile downwards, and they are sometimes they're too much focused on small things to how to criticize, and rather just forget about things and just keep going and enjoy the nature and all the little things. It's more like, this Germans are sometimes always looking for something to optimize and see, okay, this could be better, or why wasn't he as good as that, or what is the price about, and do we manage everything in the time.
So they need more of that vacation state of mind at times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like they just keep doing the same things they're doing in a job, being kind of punctual and effective and not too relaxed.
Gotcha. Cool. And now I want to just ask you a couple rapid fire questions.
Okay, cool.
So
responsible with one word?
I mean,
not
just
that
like a
fast.
couple sentences,
Okay,
you know, just whatever feels right.
Yeah, sure.
Just gonna go down the list. What's been your favorite meal so far in your travels?
Casado. I love casado.
Casado.
Mostly with pollo and salsa. So chicken and sauce.
Nice. And where was that?
You can get it everywhere.
Oh.
And the best one I had so far was after my rafting trip at the end of the Rio Pacuara. I had a very good one there.
And what's been your scariest moment, your travel moment?
Scariest moment, definitely the canopy thing. There was one thing at the very end, which was called the Tarzan swing. So you had to jump off the edge, falling like 5 or 7 meters free fall, and then the rope catches you, and then you swing like Tarzan. But the step, to make the step, and then the falling, that was very scary.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, huh? It's not bungee jumping though.
No, it's not bungee jumping because you're attached to your to the whole body, and the rope ends at your stomach. So you're not falling like face down, but like you would do with the Tarzan swing.
Very cool. And what's been your favorite city?
Favorite city? Well, there are not really huge cities here in Costa Rica,
or
but a
city
village.
town.
Yeah. I see. I would say Tortuguero, because it didn't look like there wasn't a main road with all this tourism activities and bars and shops and restaurants, and then out of sudden the next road, normal village. It was a mixture of restaurants, bar, normal houses, playgrounds, and other public buildings, and it has some kind of the Caribbean feeling was nice there, and it totally looked like the old pirate village somewhere nowhere. Like on the front you had to sea, in the back there was a river. It was really nice there.
It was authentic.
It was totally authentic.
And what's been the coolest hostel you've stayed at?
Coolest hostel? Difficult. Like I don't spend too much time in a hostel. I just use it to eat and sleep. But if I have to decide, yeah, it would be this hostel actually, here in Puerto Viejo. I like the size. It's very small, so you almost knew everyone here if you just walk one way down, up and down. And the people who are working are quite nice, sleeping in the same room. So yeah, it's like coming to a little family.
Yeah.
And yeah, decoration is nice.
So it's not like the movie Hostel? Have you seen that movie?
I haven't seen it actually.
It's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. Okay.
Yeah, where everyone goes to hostel and dies.
No, I haven't seen
No.
it.
That's what a lot of people in America saw that movie, and they always reference it whenever like hostels are mentioned.
Okay,
and
cool.
a lot of people are sketched out by them because of that one movie. But yeah, it's not that bad, right?
No, it's awesome. I like it.
And what's been this is a weird question, but is there a really funny moment you remember on this trip? A really like humorous occasion?
There was one very funny moment. I forgot the name of the game we were playing with the sticks we had to pull out.
Jenga.
Of the Jenga.
Yeah.
That moment when the Jenga tower falls down on the table into the direction of one specific person, and the person was so I would say surprised that he actually fell down from the chair as well. Like the tower it would totally look like the tower was pulling him through the air off his seat, and the face of this boy. Gabe, you made my night this day.
Yeah. All thanks to Gabe.
What's up?
We're talking about your Jenga moment yesterday, the funniest moment.
Oh, when I fell on my ass?
Yeah.
Jesus. I wish that was on tape.
Yeah, I got a little glimpse of it.
It was too
Oh
much.
yeah, that's awesome.
Too much liquor.
This scene is burned into my brain.
Oh, and then you
Never
enjoyed it
disappear.
so much. Glad you liked it.
Do you have any packing tips for people traveling
Packing
around?
trips.
Yeah.
Well, as less as possible.
Okay.
And normally you always have too much clothes. In hot places like Costa Rica, bring more t-shirts and underwear.
Sure.
But like trousers, I have one long trousers, two short trousers, one swim trouser, and that's all. I have only one hiking boots, one sandals, and so far I'm doing good with this combination.
Solid.
Solid.
And you know, same subject. If you were to only pick one thing to bring with you on this trip, and I don't mean the essentials like toothbrush, t-shirt, all that.
Okay.
What would you bring? And by that I mean it could be a book, electronic device. You know,
I would
along those
say
lines.
it would be my journal.
Mhm.
Like, I think this is very important for me to do an entry every day,
Yeah.
to have something written down, which contains all kind of descriptions about locations, people, foods, and also feelings.
Yeah.
And with the handwriting and the entries about how I felt and where I was happy, I have something very precious which I always can bring out and read again and talk about this together with combination with the photos I take. It's a perfect memory for my vacation.
Good. Yeah. I still haven't done that, but definitely need to. I feel like that's a really important
You
aspect
can
of
start
any trip.
every single time.
Yeah.
Like, you just can start right this after the interview. It's possible.
I will. That's on my list of goals for the day.
Cool.
And is there an act of kindness you've seen on this trip that surprised you? I know that with traveling solo, at least when I went, I was initially really nervous about it, and then there were so many moments through my trip where I'm like, wow, these people are so nice. Like, it's not as scary as I thought it was. Or like, wow, this person did this really nice gesture for me.
Well, in general, the people here in Costa Rica, they're really, really kind people. They always help you.
Mhm.
I like to ask because I know they will always answer and help me with the proper way and even show me the way. And I tried also hitchhiking without any problem. People were saying, yeah, bump in and have a little chat, and they want to accept any little money I wanted to give them, but they were, no, please,
Wow.
please hold it. And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
they're super friendly. Like, not the people who are directly, well, the guides and people who try work in tourism are also
Mhm.
friendly. But the normal people, I would say, which are not so, which do not deal that much with tourists, they are super friendly to tourists as well. Like, they know some foreigner, but yeah, let's help him and explain him and show him. It's awesome. It's very open country.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.
Oh, it's pura vida.
Pura vida.
Ah, pura vida. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, it's definitely the way.
And I got one last question for you. Let's say there was someone heavily contemplating whether or not to go on an extended trip to a destination, you know, whether it's backpacking or just traveling. What piece of advice would you give them? What would you tell them? Should they go on the trip or not? A lot of people tend to not take these trips at all. You know, we're an exception, but I feel like a lot of people don't see the benefits of travel and just how beautiful it is and how much you develop as a human being. And what are your thoughts on that?
If you're not used to it, like, backpacking is something special, and you definitely need some experience, or at least someone who will help you at the first time.
Yeah.
So if you know someone who did it already and is eager to help you, like, oh yeah, we can do it together, then it's definitely a good opportunity you totally should take. And start with little vacation. Don't do it at the first already a 6-month tour on your own.
Yeah.
You can do that as well. I'm sure after 1 or 2 months you are as far developed as someone who is backpacking already for 20 years. But the thing is, you will fall down a lot of times, and people are trying to mess with you, like, or not really mess, but you will pay for many things too much.
Yeah.
I would say, if you're not that experienced. So
Rip you off. Scam.
exactly, and try something little. Like, start with a weekend. Go somewhere where you've never been before, and just see what you can do there, or with a week. And yeah, don't overdo it the first time.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice, but you should definitely give it a try.
Yeah. And do you